Hey guys, it's me, Edward Ray, and today I'm going to talk about another subject that Jehovah's Witnesses always bring up, and that is Satan the devil. Jehovah's Witnesses, their religion revolves so much around Satan and the belief in Satan that in the publications and in the discourses you hear more about Satan than you do about Jesus himself. Yet they claim to be Christian. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that Satan is always looking to mislead everyone in the entire inhabited earth, but especially Jehovah's Witnesses. And that just it sounds really weird because Jehovah's Witnesses are so small of an organization that they make themselves seem bigger, which is called grandiose delusional. So they feel like they're bigger than what they really are. So Jehovah's Witnesses, there are 8 million Jehovah's Witnesses, and yet there are about 8 billion people on the planet. So apparently Jehovah is going to destroy anyone that's not one of Jehovah's Witnesses. That would be like 99% of all humans would be destroyed by Jehovah. That doesn't sound right, but it is, because Jehovah's Witness group is so small and it's getting smaller by the day. So Jehovah is going to destroy. It doesn't say Satan is going to. We're talking about Armageddon. Jehovah is going to destroy 99% of all mankind. Whenever you think about Thanos in the Marvel universe, Thanos, he destroyed 50% of all people. That's just half of all people. And he was a supervillain, but yet Jehovah is going to destroy 99%, and Jehovah's Witnesses are going to bury all these people, I guess, at Armageddon. Whenever I first started studying, they said that birds are going to come and eat all these dead people, but now some of these governing body members have confirmed that in Armageddon people are going to be burned up like hot dogs.
I just want to lie on the beach and eat hot dogs. That's all I've ever wanted.
Basically, they're going to be burying a bunch of bodies. See, it's all fantasy. It is all fantasy. And, the Jehovah's Witnesses are grandiose delusional. They hope that something bad happens and to basically justify their belief. Whenever they start seeing like things about earthquakes and wars and reports of wars, and then they start seeing about the pandemic, they start thinking, oh, we are in the last of the very last days, right? Well, that's a joke. It doesn't make any sense. And, Jehovah's Witnesses view themselves as, God's organization, God's people, and they feel like, if God told them through the governing body to take a spear and go around and just start killing anyone that's not a worshiper of God, they would do it. That's what's crazy. What is the difference between Jehovah's Witnesses and Jimmy Jones and Jonestown, or David Koresh and the Branch Davidian? There are a lot of similarities, like Jehovah's Witnesses have the branch office and David Koresh had the Branch Davidian. Same thing. What is it? It's a cult. I talked previously how Jehovah's organization, the governing body, how they can manipulate a person to resist that natural love for their child, their adult child, their grandparent. Just think of what they can do. Look at Jimmy Jones and Jonestown. What did they do? They drank the Kool-Aid. Otherwise, they drank the Kool-Aid with cyanide. They killed their children. That thing was a massacre. It was horrible. And Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't think they'll do something like that, but by wasting your time, wasting the best years of your life for nonsense is like drinking the Kool-Aid slowly. Today is your only guarantee. Paradise is not a guarantee. What Jehovah's Witnesses don't know is that in the King James Version, unicorns are in the Bible. What does that start to tell you about the Bible? It has unicorns in it. You could Google that one. Yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses feel like, Satan and Satan's organization, otherwise anyone that's not, one of Jehovah's Witnesses, is trying to mislead Jehovah's Witnesses. There are a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that really miss their families. It's not that they don't want to see their family, it's because their family are shunning them. That's evil. That's wicked. They miss their family. They want them back. And that's why they hope that this organization collapses with Google, with the internet, with people finally standing up for themselves and start to think realistically about life and the enjoyment of life and success in life, and how that they're wasting the best years of their life. And if you're elderly or if you're older and you leave the religion, you know what, you're doing a good thing. Why? Because you don't want your children and grandchildren to live miserable lives. You want them to live the best life possible. That's just nature. But it's immoral for an organization to manipulate so many people to believing that, shunning is a loving provision. It doesn't make any sense. If you even define provision, it doesn't make any sense. It's not anything that's going to sustain you. It's ridiculous. Anyways, this Satan thing, he's just, I've never seen him. To me, it's fictional. And, I've never seen anything supernatural. I've never seen a demon. I've never seen a possessed person. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. Matter of fact, I'm in a hotel right now, and there's a cemetery next door, and I don't see any ghosts walking around. I've never seen a UFO, not that there's any. There could be. But I've never seen a Sasquatch, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes I'm in the middle of the dark, and the only things that I'm worried about are mountain lions and rattlesnakes. That's all I worry about. I'm not worried about an alien coming to get me. I'm not worried about a Sasquatch, a Chupacabra, the Llorona. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. Why? Because they don't exist. The Watchtower publications used to show in their yearbooks that people in Africa would be demon possessed, and all of a sudden something happened. Elders visited them or something, but all of a sudden the demon left them. They were no longer possessed, and they started progressing, and they can walk again all of a sudden. Well, ever since cell phones came out and all of them have cameras on them, there aren't anybody that's getting possessed anymore. I mean, there's a lot of crazy people out there, but no demon possessions. Because if you can prove it, you could be rich. Jehovah's Witnesses, they persecute each other. I think the only ones that ever persecuted me when I was in that religion, it wasn't my neighbors, it wasn't my non-witness family, it wasn't the people at work. They were Jehovah's Witnesses. They persecuted me and my family. My children, they're doing a lot better, since we left, but it's so cringy to think that, that they're even part of any of that, But anyways, going back to Satan, if Satan really existed, he would show himself, because people believe what they see, and if they saw him, they would believe him, and they would follow him. I've never seen anything like that. I just know that, there are some bad people out there. So that's how I come to the conclusion that Jehovah's Witnesses are very superstitious. Very superstitious. So superstitious that if anything goes on in their life, as far as let's say they got fired, they will start to think about some of the things that they've done in the past. I've seen couples confess because, they're having marital problems, and whatever happens, then all of a sudden they say, well, you know what? We did have sex before marriage. And then they turn themselves in. They turn themselves in to these elders. And now all the elders know about your business. And not just the ones that talk to you for the judicial hearing or anything like that. All of them know. So, but they're so superstitious that they feel like, they're hindering God's Holy Spirit. You know what? Some days you have good days. Some days you have bad days. I don't believe in Satan. I don't believe that he exists. I don't believe that there's any wicked powers that are trying to influence people. I just know there's a lot of crazy people. There are a lot of drugs out there. There are a lot of, ones that are not just crazy, but there are some that are, have, certain mental illnesses that they're really trying to control. And then there are just wicked people. There's just wicked people out there. You can't blame an invisible being for the things that people do. How about mankind? How about they take responsibility for their actions? You know, whether it's indirectly or directly. You know, if you're raising children, bring them up the best way that you can. You know, love your children, teach your children, spend time with your children. You might be tired, but just be there for them. You know, when it comes down to, you know, an invisible being, you know, torturing you or, you know, haunting you or this or that, you know, if you really stop and just go and, you know, explore and walk around the house in the dark and see what you find, you're going to realize it's nothing. There's nothing there. What it is you're watching too many scary movies. But whatever. Everybody has their own little things that they like to do. Some people like to be scared. It's okay. That's what they like. When it comes down to Satan, you know, I don't believe in Satan, and I think that, you know, mankind just needs to take responsibility for their actions. And some of them cannot take responsibility because they have mental illness, unfortunately. Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, they have this belief in Satan that overpowers the belief in Jesus. And, you know, they can argue with you about that, but in all reality, everything has to do with Satan. Everything has to do with sex. Everything has to do with, you know, all these different rules that, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses have. Things that stem all the way from the Hebrew scriptures, which was the Mosaic Law, which the Mosaic Law was done away with. So you can get a tattoo, and what else can you do? You could probably do some other things. And you know what? The Mosaic Law is done away with. It's all in the Old Testament. So homosexuality, that's in the Old Testament. There's nothing in the New Testament. Jesus never mentions anything about homosexuality. So, you know, who are these Jehovah's Witnesses to judge? Well, that's all I have for you guys. And, you know, I'll come up with another video here soon, and just keep watching and like, comment, you know, hit the notification button so that way you don't miss the next video. Thank you for your support, and thank you for watching.